This is Barbara Ann Eddy, our clerk from Vancouver on the category of Shakespeare. Last time, she answered a question worth $32,000. Will she quit or risk it on a question worth $64,000? If she succeeds, she will be our second champion this season and eligible in the playoffs for a crack at double $64,000, $128,000 on the $128,000 question. And here's your host, the star of our show, Alex Trebek.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to our show. Good to have you joining us. On this program, we take considerable pride in the accomplishments of our contestants, and they become very special people to us in a real sense, and for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes because of their category, occasionally because of the kind of people they are, sometimes because of the length of time they spend with us on the program, and once in a while because they're young and they're cute. And those words describe our first expert this evening. Sandy, would you introduce him?
Alex, joining us for the second time on the category of Greek mythology is our schoolboy from Woodside, New York, who will go for a question worth $8,000, Douglas Mao.
I was paying you a very good compliment when I said you were young and you're cute. I want to ask you something. You have been on the program and demonstrated your knowledge so far in the area of Greek mythology. A lot of heroes in Greek mythology. But tell me, who are your heroes in modern day life? Do you have any?
I wouldn't say that there are any that I could call real heroes, or I can't say that there's anybody that I would really want to be, you know.
Well, you know, when we think of people who are 11 years old, who are experts such as you are, very bright individuals, we tend to think that you don't enjoy doing the same thing that other kids do. Do you participate in sports, or do you like sports activities at all?
Well, I'm not crazy about sports.
As a participant or as a fan?
Well, really neither way do I like sports.
What do you like to do for fun?
Well, since the beginning of the summer, I've started collecting comic books, which I think are really
Comic books?
Yeah.
For one who's an expert on Greek mythology. That's very interesting. Okay, we're going to find out right now how much you know, because it's automatic. You've won the $4,000 automobile, and you go into the booth to try for $8,000. Good luck to you, Douglas. Sylvie, take him into the booth. Let's give him a good round of applause, folks, and encourage him. All set?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. O'Rourke, may I have the questions, please? I wonder if they have a lot of Greek mythology characters in comic books. I haven't read any in a long time, so I wouldn't know. The story of the Trojan War inspired Homer's Iliad, and the legendary episode of the Trojan horse relates one of the most famous war strategies of all time. Douglas, for $8,000, answer these questions about the Trojan War. The beautiful queen of Sparta was believed to be the cause of the Trojan War. The first part of this question is name her. Next, name the king of Troy, who was also the father of the brave warrior Hector. 3, what great hero of the war was killed when an arrow hit him in the heel, the only spot on his body where he could be hurt? 4, name the daughter of Agamemnon who was offered as a sacrifice at Aulis. And finally, the fifth part, for $8,000, name the woman who was given the gift to see the future by Apollo, although no one ever believed her predictions. You've got 20 seconds, Douglas. Douglas, I think you're loosening up on us, because as I read the fifth part of that question, you smiled. Is it because you figure you know the answer to all of them, or you know the answer to the fifth one?
I think it's because I know all of them, but let's see.
Let's see indeed. All right. You've got to get 5 right in order to win $8,000. The first part of the question. Name the beautiful queen of Sparta, who was believed to be the cause of the Trojan War.
Helen.
You are right. Name the king of Troy, who was also the father of the brave warrior Hector.
Priam.
Priam is correct. What great hero of the war was killed when an arrow hit him in the heel, the only spot on his body where he could be hurt?
Achilles.
Right again, Douglas. Fourth part. Name the daughter of Agamemnon, who was offered as a sacrifice at Aulis.
Iphigenia.
All right, that is correct. And finally, part 5 for a prize of $8,000 in cash. Name the woman who was given the gift to see the future by Apollo, although no one ever believed her predictions.
Cassandra.
You're right, you've got it. You did it. Isn't this more fun than reading comic books?
Yeah.
It is. All right, you have won $8,000 in cash. I should point out, folks, in case you haven't joined us before when we've had somebody who is under legal age on the program, Douglas will not be making the important decision that is up for him right now. He's got the $8,000. He has to decide whether to keep that and risk it on a question, keep it, or risk it on a question worth 16. That decision will be made by his parents, and we'll have you and your mother back on our next program, okay? Good luck to you, and thank you for joining us today. Nice going. Get that big sigh of relief? Made it. All right, we've got another contestant with a very important decision to tell us about right after this commercial break. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for staying tuned, because we have coming out right now a winning combination, a twosome that has proved very popular over the past few weeks. Let's welcome them.
Joining us for the 6th time on the category of Shakespeare is our clerk from Vancouver, British Columbia, who will tell us if she will quit with the $32,000 she already has or risk it for a chance at $64,000, Barbara Ann Eddy.
Barbara Ann, for those of you who may not remember the details of her personal life, is one of a family of 7 children.
That's right.
And she's had her mom and her father with her in the studio every time she's been up here to answer questions, and accompanying her every time also, Fearless Fenton, the great frog, given to her by a friend before you made your first visit with us. Fenton and you have been great so far, all kinds of good things happening. You've won an $8,000 car, $24,000 in cash. Has it changed your life any with the family and with your co-workers? What's been happening?
Well, it has given a lot of people the idea that I need advice.
What kind of advice?
Mostly take the money and run.
That's what you've been getting, huh?
Most of the time. There seem to be a lot of people who think that $32,000 is a lot of money, and I guess it is. It's certainly more than I've ever seen, but that... the fact that I've won it and not they seems to think that they gives them the idea that they have the right to tell me what to do with it.
Well, it is a lot of money, and there are some advantages, of course, to taking the money and running, because I recall when you won the $16,000 prize, you said you had won enough money to buy your folks something they'd always wanted, and that was...
a motorhome.
Motorhome, so they could do a lot of traveling.
Right.
All right, you've still got enough money to do that, and you could wind up winning a lot more. We've been waiting a whole week to find out what your decision is going to be as you stroke Fearless Fenton.
Yeah.
What is it? Do you take the $32,000, listen to your friends who have said, run, or do you risk it and try for $64,000 and perhaps $128,000? Barbara, what's the answer?
Well, I think there are 2 quotes opposite to this. One is by Lady Macbeth, whom you've commented before as a lady with a way with words, who talks about living a coward in one's own esteem. And also there's a quote from Hamlet, "If it be not to come, let it be now, the readiness is all." Let's go.
All right. Hey. Way to go, Barb. Good luck to you. Sylvie, take her into the booth. Good luck to you, Barbara. May I have the $64,000 question, please, Mr. O'Rourke? And the subject is William Shakespeare. Another great poet, Robert Browning, bestowed perhaps the highest accolade upon Shakespeare when he wrote, "Shakespeare, to such names sounding, what succeeds fitly as silence." for $64,000, Barbara Ann, I want you to answer these survey questions about the awesomely gifted William Shakespeare. Part 1. In Romeo and Juliet, who is the character who delivers the Queen Mab speech? Part 2. What play begins with a prologue who says, "Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention"? Number 3. There are 3 plays that deal with Henry VI. Henry VI Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. In which play does Henry VI escape to Berwick in disguise, but is later discovered and sent to the Tower? Part 4. What character in Othello innocently helps to bring about a tragedy when she retains the handkerchief that Desdemona drops? Part 5. What is the unusual name given Armado's page in Love's Labour's Lost? It is also the name of the fairy in A Midsummer Night's Dream, chosen by Titania to attend Bottom. Part 6. In Julius Caesar, name the character whom Antony dismisses as, quote, "a slight, unmeritable man, meet to be sent on errands." And finally, Part 7, for $64,000. What Shakespearean comedy is set in Roussillon, Paris, Florence, and Marseille? 7 parts. Good luck to you. You've got 20 seconds. You all set, Barbara Ann? Here we go. Part 1. In Romeo and Juliet, who is the character who delivers the Queen Mab speech?
Mercutio.
You are correct. 1 down, 6 to go for $64,000. Part 2. What play begins with a prologue who says, "Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention"?
Henry V.
You're right. 2 down. There are 3 plays that deal with Henry VI. Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. In which play does Henry VI escape to Berwick in disguise, but is later discovered and sent to the Tower?
May we pass that, please?
We'll take a pass on that one. Fine. Number 4. What character in Othello innocently helps to bring about a tragedy when she retains the handkerchief that Desdemona drops?
Emilia.
Emilia. That's right. You've answered 3 correctly. Next question. What is the unusual name given Armado's page in Love's Labour's Lost? It is also the name of the fairy in A Midsummer Night's Dream, chosen by Titania to attend Bottom.
Moth.
Moth. Correct. Number 6. In Julius Caesar, name the character whom Antony dismisses as, quote, "a slight, unmeritable man, meet to be sent on errands."
Pass that too, please.
We'll go to number 7. What Shakespearean comedy is set in Roussillon, Paris, Florence, and Marseille?
All's well that ends well.
That's right. Okay, we've got 2 to pick up on. 2 you passed. Number 3. There are 3 plays that deal with Henry VI. Henry VI Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. In which one of these does Henry VI escape to Berwick in disguise, but is later discovered and sent to the Tower?
I believe that's Henry VI Part 3.
Would you repeat that?
I think it is Henry VI Part 3.
You're right. Okay. 1 more, and you've won $64,000. In Julius Caesar, name the character whom Antony dismisses as, quote, "a slight, unmeritable man, meet to be sent on errands," end of quote.
I believe that is Lepidus.
You're absolutely right for $64,000.
She went back over the plate. She had to go back to get the 2 ounces.
Lepidus, I remember, is a character from Antony and Cleopatra. I didn't honestly remember if he was in Julius Caesar, but in Antony and Cleopatra, he was the kind of character who was meat to be sent on errands. So
Ain't education grand, folks? How about that? $64,000. Your folks are obviously delighted. They're going to get the motor home. You're coming back to try for another 64. But what are you going to do with some of the money you've won? I mean, you've got to have made some plans.
yes, indeed. The one thing I want to do, I'm going to take some time off work and I'm going to Stratford-on-Avon. I've got to give him all the thanks I can for what he's done so far.
Fantastic. Barbara Ann Eddy, a $64,000 winner on a $128,000 question. Congratulations to you. We'll be back right after this break, folks.
Once again, here's Alex Trebek.
Thank you, Sandy. I just happened to overhear our next contestant saying that's a tough act to follow, and it is indeed. Congratulations again to Barbara Ann Eddy. But now let's meet our next expert.
Joining us for the second time on the category of French Impressionism is our stewardess from New York, who will tell us if she will try for $256, Sharon Flesher.
Sharon, you sounded a little intimidated by the fact that Barbara Ann won the $64,000.
Yes, that's true. It's really difficult to follow that one.
But look at it this way. She could have sent off a lot of good luck vibes for you, and things, all kinds of great things might start happening for you, and you might wind up in her position.
Oh, I certainly hope so.
All right, when we left off on our last program, you had correctly answered a question worth $256. You were just starting out. You going to keep that, or do you want to risk it on a question worth double that?
I came awfully far to leave now.
All right, you go get set at the podium, and while you're doing that, we'll take a break for an important message or two, and then we'll get to the questions with this expert. I was getting ahead of myself a few moments ago when I said that Sharon had reached the $256 level. She reached the $128 level on our last program, which means that your first question today is for $256. And here it is. What is the title of the 1876 painting by Pierre-Auguste Renoir, in which he includes several of his contemporaries? Is it called Boulevard de Clichy or Le Moulin de la Galette?
Le Moulin de la Galette.
You're right. You've got $256. Here we go for 512. Paul Cézanne borrowed a theme from an 1863 painting by Edouard Manet entitled Olympia. He then interpreted it in his own way. What is the title of this nude by Paul Cézanne? Is it Olympia by the Bordello or A Modern Olympia?
A Modern Olympia.
You're right. You've got 512. Here we go on. For $1,000, what painter in 1874 exhibited a landscape called Impression, Sunrise? His painting prompted one skeptical critic to call the entire show impressionist, thus giving the movement its name.
This is a multiple choice. Monet.
Monet, yes, you're right. It was not a multiple choice and you didn't need it. You've got 1,000. Do we try to double it?
Yes, sure.
This is a two-part question. Dancers have held a fascination for many artists. Part one, what impressionist is noted for his paintings of ballerinas, such as Deux danseuses à la barre, or Two dancers at the practice bar? And the second part of the question, what painter dealt in his posters with the earthy dancers of the Montmartre in Paris? One of his better-known paintings is Jeanne Avril dansant. The first one, what impressionist noted for his paintings of ballerinas?
Degas.
Degas is right. The second part, what painter dealt in his posters with the earthy dancers of the Montmartre in Paris?
Toulouse-Lautrec.
Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec, and he's got $2,000. Thank you, Sylvie, and congratulations to you, Sharon. We kind of rushed you through there because we were running short of time on
I'm
the program.
getting used to being rushed through.
But you've got $2,000, and we'll see you next week when you tell us whether you're going to try for 4, okay? Good luck in making your decision. And thank you for joining us today, ladies and gentlemen. Hope to see you next time around. So long.
next time when Douglas Mao, our schoolboy from Woodside, New York, will tell us if he will quit or risk the $8,000 he has won on prizes worth $16,000 on the $128,000 question. I'm Sandy Hoyt. This program was recorded.
If you like this, be sure to subscribe to this channel for more game show gems here in the vault. You can also find more fun stuff on our Facebook page or connect with other fans on the Wink Facebook groups.